Now, we just finished talking about the new consoles, the new PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, which all of that has AMD at the very center of it. They benefited the most because they had custom APUs pushing out amazing graphical performance in both the new consoles. And that's a pretty big deal. And hot off the heels of that, they decided to go ahead and do an announcement this week for their new CPUs and a little bit of a glimpse into their new GPUs. Let's have a quick chat about what AMD showed us this week. The new AMD slogan, "Where Gaming Begins," is at the core of this new generation of Ryzen, which focuses on higher frequency and better performance in games. This is a little bit of a shift from the previous goal that AMD had, which is how much cores or how many cores can you put into a CPU and, boost that performance that way. They don't need to do that anymore because they've already run that race. For the new CPUs, we now have Ryzen 5 5700X, Ryzen 7 5800X, and the Ryzen 9 5900X. And we also have a BFG of a CPU, the Ryzen 9 5950X, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. Now, it goes without saying that AMD has not let up on trying to defeat Intel in pretty much every aspect. Everything that they were losing at before for years, they are now coming back and fighting Intel on all of these fronts. The last battle that they really need to win is in gaming. And for those of you who know, when it comes to gaming, single core performance and high frequencies is what pushes the FPS the most. And that is why in this particular lineup of new CPUs, AMD has pushed very close to the 5 GHz out of the box for their latest, or at least their top end new CPU, the 5900X. And of course, they have re-engineered a lot of things in this CPU in order to achieve this. The way they're going to achieve this is a 19% increase in IPC, that is instructions per clock, a re-engineered cache system for all CPUs where now all cores will have direct access to an even bigger cache pool than they've ever had on their previous CPU lineups, and of course, again, the higher frequencies. Now, according to AMD, this gives them an average 26% or so increase in performance across the board in many games at 1080p. Now, just like in video with the 3090 GPU, AMD saved the talk of the 5950X towards the tail end of the video, which makes sense because it definitely is a monster of a CPU. 16 cores, 32 threads. This CPU is aimed at content creators, CAD people, and anyone who just really needs lots of CPU power. And it all comes in at a TDP of 105 watts. As a matter of fact, all the CPUs that were talked about in their announcement came in at 105 watts TDP or lower. That means, like, unlike AMD processors of the past, these CPUs are not going to turn into huge heaters in your home when you actually start gaming and really taxing on them with like encoding videos or stuff like that. One thing I found pretty funny is that they proudly showed off benchmarks against the 10900K, even the ones where they tied or didn't do as well in, because we all know that Intel is not going to respond with anything new. They also let us know that they are on track with their 5nm process, which we will probably hear more about going in late next year or so, but they just want to let us know that they are on track with that and they are still pushing to innovate and just not resting on their wins as of late. Now, even with all of this, AMD wasn't done just yet. Lisa wanted to let us know that she was listening to us when we kept asking about Big Navi, which I just found out was not an internal name, was just something that we called it. It is actually called the RX 6000 series, and she had the GPU on hand so we can finally see the design of the GPU, and we even got a little bit of the performance that we can expect from it, which is 4K at 60 plus frames per second in many games. However, that's pretty much where it ends. We don't really know much about it, so I won't talk much more about it until we actually get the big announcement for Big Navi coming October 28th. Now, speaking of dates, the new CPUs are dropping on November 5th. That is all of them. That includes the 5950X. And we can expect the prices to, be as according. And they're actually not too bad considering what you're getting. The 5950X starts off at $799. And then, of course, we go down from there. The 5900X is at $549. The 5800X is at $449. And the 5700X is at $299. So AMD is still trying to, keep things in check when it comes to the price as well. You can get a 16-core, 32-thread processor for less than $1,000. Honestly, I'm starting to question what is the need for Threadripper at this point. there has to be some specific server applications where you would have to bust out a Threadripper or even need to buy a Threadripper at this point. You have a 16-core, 32-thread desktop processor for $800. I don't know what need you would have to buy a Threadripper, but only time will tell. And of course, Threadripper has other server-specific technologies built in, which, again, it needs to be a very niche thing that you would need to actually go and grab those processors at this point in the game. With all that being said, I'm very excited about what AMD is doing and what is to come from AMD, and also the fact that, again, all of this new tech that's coming out this holiday is just amazing. So now you have new processors. You're going to have new GPUs. You already have NVIDIA released their new lineup, even though you can't find it anywhere. But it's nice that all this stuff is here, and it's going to make for a really, really nice Christmas for a lot of people. Again, assuming that stock holds up, because we all know how pre-orders can pretty much ruin everything. I hope you guys did enjoy this little wrap up of AMD and the announcement they made this week. Let me know down in the comment box if you guys intend to upgrade, if you're rocking AMD like I am. I'm rocking a 3700X, and if you actually intend to upgrade or buy the new AMD GPUs when they come out, sound off, or of course about anything else. If you did like this video, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe for more tech videos coming at you all the time. And of course, if you haven't already, hop on over to Twitch TV/Eshcole for my streams now. My streams are over on Twitch, and I hope to see you there. You have a good one. Bye.